I collect stories. Now, lots of times these stories amuse me, and sometimes they amuse other people, and sometimes they don't. These are elevator stories. I have four elevator stories drawn from time in and around elevators. The first one is about the Disney Tower of Terror, which is at Disney World, and this is based on the and a kind of a creepy hotel, a wonderful hotel in Los Angeles, where people like James Dean and other people love to hang out, Belushi and other guys. Anyway, the Tower of Terror, the it's basically a glorified elevator. It goes up and drops, goes up and back and forth and so forth. It scares the living crap out of people. Carol Ann was on it, and she was with a heavy set woman, let's say. And when they put the thing across Carol Ann's uh, midriff and legs, it didn't quite go across because of the heavy set woman next to her. And Carol Ann, whoa, whoa. Anyway, I'm downtown in Orlando one day, and I'm in an elevator, and I don't know why the guy's got name elevator company on him, and I say, so what kind of problems do you have with elevators? And we chat a little bit. I mean, hell, we're in an elevator; we can't talk too long. And I said, so what do you know about the Tower of Terror down at down at Disney World here, down in 20 miles south of us or so? And he said, oh, I helped design it and help build it. And he said, what Disney wanted was and asked us to make a list of everything that goes wrong with elevators and then incorporate them into Tower of Terror. So if you want the worst possible experience on an elevator, head on down to Orlando. Head on over to Tower of Terror. And okay, hotel next. This is 204. Hotels and airlines and everybody these days give you points. So when you check in, and stay in someplace, you might get points. I've been with Hilton for a long time, with Marriott and so forth. I got points. And every so often the points get large enough that I'd say, okay, we'll take a night or we'll take a couple of nights here. Anyway, points and so on. So I'm in a hotel, and this is down in Sarasota, as I recall, and Sarasota, Florida. It's on the west coast of Florida, south of Tampa, and St. Petersburg. Anyway, I'm heading down the hall because I'm staying in this hotel. I get to the elevator, and there are a couple of people standing around waiting, and someone says, "There's someone trapped in the elevator." You go, "Really?" He said, "Yeah," and the manager's coming. Okay, so you say, "Well, okay, any other? No other elevators yet." And then the manager shows up, and he says, "Are you okay?" Shouting to the guy trapped in the elevator. And the guy replies, "I want more points." Good thinking there. Yeah, they got the guy out. He got more points, and I guess he did. I lived for the better part of half a year or more in the Splendid Hotel in Saigon. And it's about a block and a half from the Presidential Palace, just up the street from the embassy. I was running a magazine on behalf of the 4th Psychological Operations Group. I had started the magazine and developed it from ground up. And anyway, I'm living in this hotel with my offices down in the rail yard, and it's 1968, 1969. And the Splendid Hotel, I'm up on the 4th floor, I think 4 or 5 floors. There were 5 floors. I'm on the 4th floor. And there's an elevator. And everybody, when they check into they say, oh, there's an elevator, and they get on the elevator. But if people will stop you and say, don't use the elevator. You're going to get trapped in the elevator. And indeed, people would get trapped in the elevator. The elevator had issues. But, okay. And so, you'd be walking by, but there was a way to handle this. And what was going on was the elevator cabin, whatever, wouldn't come down just quite far enough to interlock to say, oh, open the doors. Okay. But the way to handle this was jump up and down, until the doors open. And then you get out. And by the way, you never, ever do this again. You don't get on this elevator again. But anyway, periodically, I and others would walk by and you'd hear, I'm trapped in the help, help. Okay. And you would yell at them, jump up and down. And you hear, what? Jump up and down. And womp, 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 womp. It's open. Oh, my Lord. But that's not as bad as the Meyercord Hotel elevator. Meyercord was another hotel in downtown Saigon. And that's where the celebrities would stay. They'd come in and they'd do shows and one thing and another, and they'd put them up in the Meyercord. Nice hotel. But the Meyercord had a 3-person elevator. And I don't know how many floors. Meyercord had 8, 10, 12. I don't know how many floors Meyercord had. But anyway, you would, I obviously have to crowd in and get in here. But the first time I got in with a couple of other people, because you're smart enough not to put more than 3 in there, I got in and the doors closed and these people put their hands out against the sides of the elevator. And so we start up, and I'm thinking, this is strange. Oh! And we drop 2.5 floors. That scared the living daylights out of you, and then we went on up and everything was fine. So every time you got on the Meyercord elevator, you hang on to the side because you're going to get up about 3 or 4 stories and you're going to fall. Maybe it's a half a floor, maybe it's 2 floors, I don't know what. But anyway, go down. But once it got down there, the elevator says, I'm okay now. And up you would go. And those are my elevator stories. Just a little collection of elevator stories.